Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, where in a single moment you can recognize your brilliance and change your life. This is a transformational hour that covers an array of topics that demonstrate how individuals use their native talents, as shown in their name, to look at the ordinary in extraordinary ways. Now, Albert Einstein once said that everybody's a genius. Why would one of the smartest people on the planet declare that everyone is a genius unless he knew that to be true? I'm your host, Sharon Lynn Wyeth, creator of Namology Science and author of Know the Name, Know the Person. And in each weekly show, you'll hear the fascinating ways that other people have discovered the genius in themselves and what they were able to accomplish. At the end of tonight's show, you will hear clues on how you can recognize your own innate genius. Now, all over the world, people have many, many diverse interests. So how does anyone express those creative talents, and how does someone share those gifts with others in such a way that everybody benefits? Our expert tonight is Madeline Gerwick, who has developed her genius in the area of business astrology. Now, we've had Madeline on the show before, and we always get really positive responses when she's on, so I'm just thrilled that she's back. Now, you might say, what's so great about business astrology? Well, J. Paul Morgan stated that millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. And Madeline Gerwick is an internationally recognized and certified astrologer, specializing in business, economic, and personal astrology. She has a BA degree with honors in economics, many years in industrial sales and marketing, and she's listed in several Who's Who's books, including Who's Who in the World and Who's Who in America. Now, her unique combination of credentials makes her an in-demand speaker regarding economic conditions and business trends. She consults with individuals and businesses of all sizes to guide them to higher levels of prosperity by working in harmony with the universe. Now, she can be heard weekly on her own broadcast radio show, Cosmic Connections with Madeline, which is part of the Dr. Pat Show. Now, she annually writes the Good Timing Guide and Good Timing newsletters. Her 30-plus years of astrological experience and study enable her to provide in-depth, multidimensional insights and analysis. Just wait till you'll see for yourself during the show tonight how fabulous she is with what she can say and the wide range of her background and what her knowledge is. Now, she's co-authored The Complete Idiot's Guide to Astrology and The Pocket Idiot's Guide to Horoscopes, and both are published by Alpha Books, which is a division of Penguin Group. And she's recently joined well-known authors Stephen Covey, Oprah, Steve Jobs, Thomas More, Scott Peck, Robert Kiyosaki, and many more as contributing authors to the new business anthology that's called Einstein's Business: Engaging Soul, Imagination, and Excellence in the Workplace. Madeline, it is a pleasure to have you back on Know the Name, Know the Genius in You radio show. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so delighted to be back.
Well, thank you. So for everybody that doesn't know, how did you start off in astrology?
Well, I started off being a waitress in a restaurant in the summertime while I was in college. And one day, this guy came in and watched me for maybe 10 minutes. And after that, he said, "I bet you're a Virgo." And, of course, he was right. And so, of course, this guy was trying to get a date, right? And I went with him on a date, and he showed me a book called Heaven Knows What by Grant Louie. And it was an amazing book. It had all these paragraphs in it, and you could look up your birth date and then read the paragraphs that related to you. And it was so incredibly accurate. I couldn't believe it. I was studying science at the time, so it didn't compute, right? So I had to find out about it, and the rest, they say, is history. So that's how I got started in astrology.
Did you ever check out other modalities to say, well, maybe you'd like tarot reading, or maybe you'd like physiognomy?
I did. Yeah, I did, but astrology was what really intrigued me the most. And I will say this, astrology is extremely complex. So it will take somebody a minimum of 12 years to learn astrology. Some people take a lot longer than that. You could, if you were working full-time at it, learn astrology in 4 years, but you wouldn't get the experience level that you need within that time frame to really understand it. So it's really a very, very complex subject, and it's the equivalent of trying to become a doctor, or maybe a lawyer or something like that. It's a very
complicated
complex, yeah, very complex, and any chart will have a minimum of 40 components to it. And, of course, there's no chart that can be recreated in less than billions and billions and billions of years. So, they don't repeat, you see. So even twins have slight differences in their charts, sometimes fairly big differences depending on how far apart they were born, in time. But, yeah, it's very
complex
specific to the person who's coming in, right?
Right, and you have to have some math ability. What other kind of background do you need? Or what kind of mind helps it?
Yeah, you're kind of, it depends on what type of astrology you're interested in, because there are numerous types of astrology. Personal astrology helps if you have some background in psychology. Business astrology helps if you have some background in business or economics, so that you're looking at certain cycles for those types of things. Legal, there are certain people who do legal astrology, you see, or vocational astrology or health astrology, medical astrology. So those are all different specialties. And, it just depends on what the person's interested in. It can be combined with a lot of different areas.
Now, what kind of astrology do you do? Because I know there's what's called Western or Horic, and then there's different kinds of charts in Western, and then there's Vedic astrology. So specifically, what kind do you do?
Okay, so I do Western astrology, which is based on the seasons. Vedic astrology is based on the constellations. So it's a little more. It works better in a culture where they don't tend to change as easily. Meaning, if you're born in a poor family, you're going to be poor. Period.
Okay.
In the West, we have a different perspective, and so Western astrology works better here than the Vedic. But Vedic is very, very predictive. But the reason it can be predictive is because in those cultures, things do not change. You don't go from, one class to another class, etc. That doesn't typically happen. Although I have heard some recent stories about changes that way. But horary astrology is where you can just ask a very specific question. Should I buy this house? Should I take this job? Should I hire this person? Should I invest in this opportunity? Just a lot of different possibilities. You can also use it to find things, which is also quite a challenge sometimes. But horary astrology is very, very specific. And I also do electional astrology, which is when you find a good date and time to do the type of activity that is that will be auspicious. So you're looking to do a particular activity, start a company, introduce a product, have a big event, etc., or buy a house, or buy a car, and then you get a date and time when all the factors will support that activity.
Well, I remember buying my car on a date that I was told was a very good date, and I actually got it for 2/3 of the original cost.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
And I thought we all need to start buying things when we have that and just have patience to wait till we get one of those days.
Yeah, well, and good car days don't come along that often because there's frequently either an issue with accidents, an issue with the car itself, or an issue with the engine of the car. So, and I just bought a new car at the end of August, and I was very careful because the new cars now are loaded with technology. I mean, it's everywhere.
Right. So there's more things that can go wrong, right?
More things that can go wrong, yes. So I made sure that the day I bought it was fantastic for technology. So, yeah, and it was actually very good for the car, and meaning the entire vehicle and the engine. So to find that day, I mean, I don't know how many days we had like that this year. Maybe 3.
I bought mine, almost 2 years ago now, but I could wait. And I literally waited like 6.5 months till that date came around.
Oh, good for you.
Did it. So we need to take our first break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and X Zone Broadcast Network and on the website, knowthename.com. Now, after the break, we're going to find out what we can expect economically for the rest of 2019 and into 2020. So stay tuned.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shamans worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Path Home Shamanic Art School proudly presents the Gathering of Shaman 2019 Fall Retreat, Manifestation Samhain. Join me, certified shamanic instructor Gwilda Wiyaka, in the magnificent Colorado Mountains this November 2nd and 3rd for a life-changing event. Participate in unique teachings and ceremonies that'll put the power and magic of shamanic manifestation into your hands. Sit in circle with like-minded individuals, sharing group energy and the power it generates. Classes will be held in a facility next to the beautiful, majestic Arkansas River, further empowering the experience. Space is limited, so reserve your spot today. For more information, visit findyourpathhome.com or email touchin@findyourpathhome.com.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and knowthename.com. Our guest tonight is Madeline Gerwick, whose website is polarisbusinessguides.com. Now, I happen to love her site, especially those Polaris business guides. So when you go to her website, really look at those. They are the most fabulous ways of being able to see what's happening in the skies for somebody who does not know astrology to help you make decisions. So I'd like to focus this segment, Madeline, on economics, because we're reading that we're in trouble and our economy is crashing. Then we read that we're okay. I mean, it really depends on what we're reading. I mean, I don't see anything so confusing as our economics right now. And it depends on who you're listening to, whether you're scared to death or whether you think, okay, everything's all right. So talk to us about this, please.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me explain to you that we're in a process that is 40 years long, and we're 19 years through it. And this process is taking us into a completely new type of economy. So this is what we would call an air economy. It will start at the end of 2020, so we're almost to it. And this type of economy, we probably haven't had it for maybe 600 or 700 years. So it's and so, you know, back then we didn't have technology and all the things we have now. So what we're going to get into, and we have been getting into for the last 19 years or so, is a higher technology type of economy. So, and then we're going to have that for like 150 years, and then we'll transition to something else. So we've had this economy since 1842, which was called an earth economy in astrological terms. So it's about services and manufacturing and agriculture and things of that nature, and financial services. So it's not that those things are going to go away. You're still going to grow food, and you're still going to have, you know, financial services, and you're still going to have people getting haircuts and so on. You know? But you know, a great deal of what you end up buying in the future will be information. And so, of some type, which can include music and videos and movies and all that stuff as well. so that you're not, it's not that you're not going to buy clothes or whatever, you will, but the majority of the economy will be based on information, data, transportation, relationships, and technology, rather than, necessarily physical items. It will include those, but that's not going to be the big focus. So first of all, we have that set of cycles. It started in 2000. It's going to continue until 2040. And that was Jupiter and Saturn square Uranus. Jupiter conjunct Saturn square Uranus. Last time Jupiter and Saturn were conjunct in the sign of Taurus, which is an earth sign. That was the last time it will occur in an earth sign. And it was square to Uranus in Aquarius. This next time in December of 2020, it will change over and we'll have Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in the sign of Aquarius, which is an earth sign. So that's the first time we'll have that. And then they will be square to Uranus in Taurus. So that's the big process that takes 40 years to get through. And so we're changing the economy. So you always have a process of some parts of the economy increasing and some parts of the economy decreasing. And so I just want to make that clear from the get-go, because this is the background of what's going on. Now, the second thing that's happening is we have a major cycle that has not occurred for 735 years. This is Saturn conjunct Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. And the last time it occurred was in December of 1284. So, of course, back then our economy, our structures, everything was completely different. So I'm not going to spend time comparing it. I'm just going to tell you that the primary focus of this cycle, which obviously we haven't had in a very long time, is about we're basically breaking down everything that is unsustainable or out of integrity. So that can include, and these are all structures. Structures can include things like governments, businesses, big corporations, organizations like the International Monetary Fund, the Federal Reserve is a corporation, World Bank. Those are all what they call NGOs, non-governmental organization, the World Trade Organization, things like that. And it can include things like governments like the European Union, for example, which seems to be in the process of crumbling. And why do these things seem to be crumbling? Because they are either unsustainable in some way or they're out of integrity.
Now, would that include relationships, like people's personal relationships?
Yes, relationships, housing situations, job situations, roads, buildings, bridges.
So there's not a limit to it?
No, there's not a limit. Types of management styles, processes, anything that's unsustainable or out of integrity is basically either being transformed or it's being dissolved. And that is happening this quarter. And then next quarter, beginning in January, this peaks on January 12th of 2020. 2 days before that, we have a lunar eclipse. That's a very big heads up, a very big heads up. Not just a full moon, but a lunar eclipse 2 days before this cycle peaks. Now, when the cycle peaks, that begins the rebuilding process. And it'll take about 19 years to start rebuilding. And so we'll rebuild a lot of different things. And hopefully during that time we'll be introduced to the suppressed technologies that have been available to us for sometimes 50 or 60 years, but not allowed to be available on Earth anyways.
Or in the general public.
Yeah, exactly, to the general public. on Earth.
Okay.
So that process is in the process. You're going to see businesses that are failing, or governments that are failing, or even buildings and bridges and roads and all kinds of things that may have needed attention for a long time, and now all of a sudden they collapse or fail or something like that.
Like power plants.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember where this was, but some big hotel chain was building a building in another country, I think, and it started collapsing before it was even finished. This was just a few days ago. So something about that was out of integrity. And integrity in a structural sense just means that, it's not sustainable in the sense that it's not lined up correctly, it's not built correctly. It doesn't have the physical integrity to sustain itself. This can happen in a person's life where their physical body doesn't have the integrity to sustain itself. So we've seen quite a few people leaving lately, and that's part of what's happening. So people who maybe have other missions that they have to get to, or maybe they didn't sustain themselves in an appropriate way, are, encountering pretty challenging situations.
And checking out. So, Madeline,
Yeah.
I want to just sneak in this short interpretation of your name before we go on.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so Madeline has in her name that this lifetime is about learning how to manifest that which she wants, but she's perfectly capable of manifesting, but she gets to learn different techniques on how that goes about. Her name says that she's part of the 2% that's on mission for our Creator in this lifetime, so that she could say the right thing at the right time to the right person. And she would just do that naturally, even if it was just a nice little conversation over dinner. She would end up saying something that could really help that other person that she's talking with, because she's part of the group of people that's on mission. It says, your name says that you have a good sense of self, or a good sense of self-ego, that you can take care of self, that you're highly independent, that you have a generous heart, that you can think quickly on your feet, that you can keep applying old knowledge to new situations. Your name also says you're incredibly honest, and that you have a lot of compassion for other people. It also says that you've got generosity and are very organized and have a good memory for anything you're interested in. But if you're not interested, who cares anyway?
Right. And that's all very accurate, by the way. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's true. I don't care about remembering details that I don't care about.
Right, but look at all the details in astrology. Well, we're back to needing another break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net, an X-Zone Broadcast Network station. And there's a link on the website of knowthename.com. Now, this show's dedicated to being prepared for our country's future. So after the break, we're going to find out what Madeline sees in the area of weather. Stay tuned.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Madeline Gerwick, the business astrologer, and she can be reached via her website, polarisbusinessguides.com. Now, if you're somewhere where you can't write that down, don't worry about it on knowthename.com. If you go underneath the schedule page, you just come to tonight's show, and when you're reading everything, it gives you all of her contact information. So it's an easy place to find it, and then just be able to click on it and get over to her website. So, Madeline, we've got fires in California again, flooding in Texas, early snow in the Dakotas. What do you see weather-wise for the United States?
Yeah, well, now some of that is due to weather wars, right? I mean,
The HARP and
yeah, the HARP and cabal. I think basically the cabal are basically at this point restricted to weather warfare because most of their weapons have been defeated at this point, except for that one. So, your fires in California, I believe I saw a satellite video where all of them started at the exact same moment. So that doesn't sound too normal to me.
And what doesn't sound normal to me is when the houses burn, but not the trees.
Yes, exactly. So those are directed energy weapons, and those are not based on,
Earth
weather
changes.
per se.
Yeah.
But in terms of weather, this winter is extremely cold, extremely, full of snow and ice and that kind of thing. Now, although the South may not feel that as much, they could with this with the amount of cold that we have for this winter. It's certainly possible that parts of the South will get a lot colder than they normally do. How long that would last is anyone's guess. We've had this pattern last year as well, and we'll have it for at least 2 more years. And that is probably a bit of a prelude to the mini ice age that Cryon has told us about that would occur within 13 years. So he has, or she, or it, or they, have told us that the power grids will fail when that happens due to the strain on them. And so we're all encouraged to find other alternative sources of energy to heat our homes and so forth, or our neighborhoods. And I think there will be new technologies for that available probably in the fairly near future. There are certain possibilities already. So this winter, next winter, and the winter after that, these next 3 winters, are great times to just see how prepared you are, you see, for something like a mini ice age. So, and then you'll have some idea, what you might need to focus on and so forth for the future. Now, the flooding, that shows up basically in our full moon and new moon charts, and I put that in my Good Timing newsletters. That's a subscription newsletter, but people who sign up for my free newsletter often get something from that newsletter, and not as much, of course, but I often send out something about the full moon and new moon in those free newsletters as well. And that's where usually we see which parts of the country are going through flooding or, some major, weather challenge, because that does show up in those charts. And I think that I want to just touch back on the economy for a moment.
Okay.
Because you mentioned something about how we are always hearing, well, it's going to crash. Oh, no, everything's fine. And one of the things I wanted to mention to you about that is that now through about early May, we have a cycle in place that's very strong for the economy. And in December, we actually show up having unexpected high growth in money. So there's a lot of money flowing for the holidays this year. So retailers should do considerably better than they normally do. And if they, and we don't know, one of the biggest challenges with the bigger issue of structures that are being transformed and or dissolved is that the Federal Reserve was never a integrity organization. In fact, it was born out of deception. So that organization has cycles for it to be transformed or changed in very significant ways. And the most likely possibility that I can think of, based on my background, is that it would become nationalized. I think that's the most likely possibility. It certainly can't stay a regular corporation ripping off the American public for billions and billions and billions of dollars every year. So, because we're renting our money from them. So I think that is one of the bigger things that has to change. We would have to get a U.S. Treasury notes, hopefully backed by some type of metal, gold, silver, palladium, whatever, platinum, I don't know. But hopefully backed by some type of assets. And that would be the primary change that I would expect to see that would sustain the economy, because it would eliminate a lot of debt. A huge percentage of the U.S. debt is owed to the Federal Reserve. So you would just nullify that, nationalize that organization, and they would still take care of banks, but they wouldn't be able to rip off the American public and so forth. So, and I think their charter ended in 2013. They're basically on borrowed time at this point anyways. And the only reason they were allowed to stay in place was because we had Obama in place instead of Trump, which is pretty rare that we would get somebody like a Trump. So I don't know when this will happen, but I would guess between now and May that we will see a major change to the financial system, which will help sustain the economy. And so you do have very big issues with the economy. You have giant amounts of debt. There's quadrillions of derivatives in the banks and investment firms. There's trade deficits that are out of control. There are big issues in the economy. But if you get some of this financial system changed for the better, then the debt will come down fairly quickly, and then you'll start having better prospects for the future. But next year is fairly challenging in various ways. So, and of
you
course,
mean
it's an election
financially?
year. Well, it's challenging in the sense that it's hard to get new starts going because you're either rethinking money, or you're rethinking what you're doing, or what you should be doing, or where you want to go for the next 2 years, or you're just rethinking the whole thing, and that kind of goes, roughly from May until like maybe December.
Okay, so a good half of the year.
Yeah, more than half of the year is a lot of rethinking, and the parts where there's not rethinking, it's exceptionally challenging. I mean, I have some months there where it's just pretty much yellow for the whole month. I'm like,
She's talking about her Polaris guide, and the code is, there's different codes, and you're always looking for the greens who are good.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of the yellows that are challenging. But then I look at them and I think it's a lot better than the oranges, which are just, disastrous.
Well, things are falling out then. Yeah, that's challenging too. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're going to get new starts going, now through maybe the middle of April is a good time to do it. Okay. And there's Mercury retrogrades in there, of course, and so forth, and there are some eclipses at the end of this year and beginning of next year. So, there are times when you don't want to start something new, and if you're going to start a business, that's when it really makes sense to get a custom timing. Because you want that business to produce income every week, every day, that you're working. You would like it to produce revenue. And it can produce a lot more if you have a date and time for when you start the company that is financially auspicious and supports the type of work that you're intending to do.
I also think it's very important to get your good days on when you should put a house up for sale or a business up for sale, so that it actually
can make a big difference, right?
Right. So it can actually move. Well, we need to take our last break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You on xzbn.net and knowthename.com. Now, after the break, we're going to find out what Madeline has in her name that has assisted her, that you just might have in your name as well, and how you can also benefit from her work. Stay tuned.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, The 70-Year Cover-Up Exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hides' life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Madeline Gerwick, whose website is polarisbusinessguides.com. Now, she's taken her skills to a level where she's able to assist others to enable them to earn more money while growing their own business. And before we get into that, I want to do two quickie weather questions that I had for you. And one is there a scary time to travel between now or around the holidays? Is it better to travel early or late or not at all? I mean,
yes.
I just want to bring that up because I read your newsletters.
Yes. Really, the first eclipse we have is on December 25th or 26th, depending on your time zone. And it's the 25th everywhere except for the East Coast. In the U.S. anyways. That particular eclipse is associated for people who have it impacting their chart. And for it to have an impact, it would have to be within a few degrees of a planet or personal point, especially if it's within 1 to 2 degrees, then that would be a signal that, there's a potential for this particular eclipse to impact you. So that the meaning of that particular eclipse and the one in January on January 10th is that a person who's impacted by that can have a sudden loss of or ending of associations or a relationship. And it can come through news or via travel, on a trip. So just because of that, I recommend for people who have an impact, their chart is impacted, not to travel at Christmas time. And really, it would be better if they didn't travel for the month of December through about, at least the middle of January, I mean. So, and then the second eclipse is January 10th. So, first of all, the eclipse in December is at 4 degrees Capricorn in 7 minutes. So if you had a planet, let's say at 3 to 5 degrees or 3 to 6 degrees, maybe even 2.5 degrees, something like that, of Capricorn or Cancer, either one, then that eclipse would definitely have a high potential for impact on you. And, generally I see that if an eclipse is within 1 degree, there's 100% probability. So and it doesn't necessarily impact you if you have a square to it, such as Libra or Aries, but it's a possibility. It's just it's iffier. Let me put it that way. But the one in January, on January 10th, that's a lunar eclipse. That's a full moon eclipse. That one is at 20 degrees Cancer, 0 minutes, exactly at 20 degrees Cancer. So if you had, a planet or a personal point like an ascendant or a descendant or midheaven or something like that at 20 degrees Cancer or Capricorn, or, say maybe it's 19 to 21, something like that, then, there's a very high probability that it would impact you. And it would not be a good idea to travel then. It would not be a good idea to travel. Perhaps you might still have the ending, but perhaps it would be a different type of ending. Maybe somebody moves away, maybe you leave a job, maybe it's something like that instead of a loss that might occur from an accident on a trip. And I just want to point out that the solstice, the winter solstice, which shows us what the kind of the lay of the land is for the next 3 months, shows, again, very, very cold winter, full of snow, precipitation, and ice. So, you could have an accident even close to home. I mean,
So everybody that gets to work from home happens to be very fortunate this winter.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. And so, it's a winter to be very careful, to be prepared. Take it easy. Don't try and rush to someplace. That's how things get screwed up. So definitely there is a much bigger danger right around Christmas time and through January. And actually the danger for that does last all the way into February 10th. And it, technically speaking, Thanksgiving could be iffy, but I will say this. Thanksgiving has some very good cycles going for it. There's some protection going on at that time. So if you are going to travel, Thanksgiving would be the time to do it. I would stay home this Christmas if you don't have to travel. Even if your chart is not impacted, it's likely to be very rough travel for Christmas because of the weather.
Yeah, and that means planes get delayed and everything else, and it's just inconvenience. Right. Okay, so one other quickie question on weather, and that is, if it gets colder in the winters, does that also correlate to hotter in the summers?
Not necessarily. Okay. I noticed in our area this summer that we had a very mild summer. I was actually quite surprised by it. If you're going to head into a mini ice age and it's within 13 years, and we don't know where within that point it will start, I would expect you'll start to see everything cool. Gradually over time, you're going to start to see the planet cool. And Cryon did explain to us that this is not because of anything humans are doing or anything like that. It's just that it's the same as if you had an aquarium. At some point, you have to change the water. You see, even with all the filters and everything you're doing to the aquarium, you still at some point have to clean out the entire aquarium and change the water. So this is the equivalent of that for Earth, because the oceans have to be cleansed so that they can continue to provide enough food for humanity. And that's the whole purpose of it. And it happens on a regular basis, but it's long periods in between, so we don't remember because we weren't here then.
Yeah, well, Afra Wesh writes in her book, Can It Happen Again? She has 3 sections in her book, and one of them is all about the different ages, and like she goes through what normally happens during the age of Pisces and then the age of Aquarius and what happens. And she says there's always an ice age, and the majority of the earth is covered in ice during the age of Capricorn. And now we're going into the age of Aquarius, but right after that comes Capricorn. So during age of Aquarius, you're getting ready for it.
Yeah, but that's 2,000 years away for Capricorn, for the age of Capricorn, a little bit more than that. So, yeah, we are getting ready for that, but hopefully we won't have an ice age for 2,000 years.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, I don't know, a mini ice age, I don't know how long that would take, but I'm hoping not more than 10 years.
Right, and of course I
might be wrong about that, but that'd be my hope anyways.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that would be nice.
So really quickly, any comments on the upcoming election? Do you think any Republican has a chance against Trump? And who do you consider the strongest candidate so far, if you've looked at it, or we may be too early for you to have done that, for the Democrats?
Okay, well, first of all, I don't know if you've watched any of the rallies that Trump has had. He gets, 50,000 people to his rallies, and so forth. I mean, there's no one on anywhere in any party that I see that can beat Trump. Now, I may be wrong, but I'm just telling you what I see.
Okay.
And Trump is, I can't remember if we talked about this the last time I was on, but his chart is protected. And on the day of his inauguration, Jupiter was exactly trying to his sun. Now, he has Jupiter trying his sun in the chart. It's not as exact as it was on the inauguration day. But basically, that guy is double protected by the universe. No one's going to get him out. No one's going to kill him. No one's going to impeach him. I can guarantee you. Yeah. And why would you want Trump to be in there? Because Trump is the only person who would ever attempt to arrest the cabal. And until you can get those people arrested, you're in danger of completely losing the Constitution. And I don't think that's something we want to give up. So, there's, you see, you really had a situation where the establishment was headed to disaster, and Trump came in to basically disrupt that process.
And we're out of time. And so
there we are.
So we're going to leave it right there. So thank you, Madeline, so much for taking your time to be with us. Much appreciated.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Always. Now, Madeline's website is polarisbusinessguides.com. And in her name, she has an AD combination that says she's part of the 2% that's working on mission for our Creator. And so anybody that has an A followed by a D right next to it, they too are part of the 2%. And if you want to know more about your name, go to knowthename.com. And also you can see a link to tonight's show on that website too. This is Sharon Lynn Wyeth signing off.